The world of freelance design can be pretty cutthroat. Most of the freelance designers out there are struggling to find enough projects to even pay their bills, while there's a small group of agencies that are getting the majority of the work, oftentimes more than they can even fulfill. And if we were to break this down, I would guess that it would be about a 90-10 split, meaning that there are 90% of freelance designers fighting over just 10% of the clients and the client projects, while the other 10% of agencies get 90% of all of those projects. And so it gets really easy for them while the rest of us are struggling. Now, the reason that we have this divide is these agencies have had the time and the money to build up a brand and a reputation and a portfolio and a track record, and it becomes much, much easier for them to land clients. All while individual designers, especially those starting out, are struggling to find even the smallest projects. So what you need to do as that solo designer is you need to find a way to connect with these agencies and get them to be willing to pass over to you their extra projects. Oftentimes these are going to be projects that come when they're overbooked, or they're smaller budget, or they might even be client projects from clients that are a little bit more difficult to work with. Either way, the projects are there, and if you can find a way to make that connection with these agencies and get them to be willing to pass those projects over to you, you're going to get free clients day in and day out, and you're always going to have work. So putting yourself in this position with these agencies is what I call being a design ghost. You're basically the guy or girl behind the scenes that does all of the fulfillment, the design, the development, and then the agency handles all of the stuff in the front office. So they're doing all the invoicing, they're finding the clients, they're managing the clients, they're doing the project management, all of those things you don't have to worry about if you're a design ghost. Now, this might sound like you're basically an employee, but that's not the case. You still have the freedom to choose what you do with your time. You have the freedom to choose which projects you want to take on, and you're essentially just sitting back and letting these agencies bring projects to you. Now, I didn't actually come up with this term design ghost. This is actually something that I learned about from a guy named Tony Seets. I came across his website and I was blown away with how well he had positioned himself as a Webflow development ghost to work with agencies and get them to pass their work to him. And I know for a lot of designers, this can be a really appealing position to take because you don't have to deal with clients. You can just sit back and design and develop. Now, it sounds like a perfect situation, but it's actually not as easy as it seems, because the hardest part of this whole thing is getting agencies to notice you, trust you, and want to pass their work over to you. And as I was thinking about this, I thought back to all of the ridiculous messages and emails that I've received from people reaching out and asking me to give them clients or give them free work or bring them on. And there are a lot of really bad examples that I'm going to share here in just a minute, and I'm going to show you what not to do when you're sending these outreach messages to agencies. And then I'm going to show you a perfect example. Then at the very end, I'm going to show you Tony's website and how he has positioned himself so perfectly as a design ghost. Now, before we dive into these outreach examples, there are a few things that we have to remember. These agencies are busy, and so you have to be respectful of their time. Next is these agencies do not need you as bad as you need them. And so coming in and acting like a hot shot and acting like they would be lucky to work with you just isn't going to work. They're just going to ignore your message, or they're going to tell you to shove off. And so you have to be really respectful and also acknowledge the position that they're in. They have the positioning and the power to land these new clients, and so you have to be appreciative and respectful of that. And if you can do that and show them that you're willing to come in and fit into their system rather than them fitting into your system, they're going to be more likely to respond to you. And the last thing that you have to remember is these agencies are getting messages like this all the time. This is not some new idea. However, the difference is all of the messages that they're getting and have gotten up to this point have been done terribly wrong. And I'm going to teach you how to send the right message to get recognized by these agencies. So I went back through my messages and emails and pulled out some of my favorite lines that I've received. So these are actual things that people have said to me. The first one is, wondering if you had any extra work you could pass my way. First off, this does not sound appealing to me as an agency owner in the slightest. It sounds needy, and it sounds like someone saying, give me what I want, I don't care what you want. The next one is, I am looking to scale my business and wondering if I could take some clients off your hands. This one's ridiculous because it still sounds very self-serving and self-centered, saying, I'm looking to scale my business. How can you help me with that? Again, me as an agency owner, I am not inclined to help you unless you're wanting to help me as well. The next message is, I can help with some smaller clients that you are unable to take on. Now this one's getting a little bit warmer. This is probably the most common one I get, but it's still not quite there because there's really nothing in it for me except for maybe them taking some of my extra work, but it still is not that appealing. The next one is, I have struggled to find my own clients and wondering if you had any advice you could give me. Now this one's funny because they're not even asking for clients. They're basically saying, I'm struggling, I'm not good at X, Y, or Z, and I need you to throw me a bone. And this doesn't really instill a lot of confidence in this person, right? This isn't someone that I want to hire or trust with my projects because they're saying, hey, like I'm struggling, but also they're asking for free advice. And if you're just reaching out and asking someone to give you something for free, it's not going to happen. People are too busy to just throw out free everything, free information, free advice. It's just not going to work. The next example, and by far my favorite, are all the messages that I get that say, help me find clients. If you send a message like this, I would bet my life that you are never going to get a response, or you're going to get a response with somebody sending you the laughing emoji, because it's just not going to work. So these are a couple of really bad examples. These are things that you want to avoid. And the reason that these things don't work is they are generic, they're spammy, they're long-winded, they come across as self-centered or entitled, and they also seem really needy. So make sure that you avoid these things. Now let's talk about what a proper outreach message looks like. A message that you can send to these agencies and that are going to get a response. They're going to get read, and the agencies are going to remember you for these messages. So make sure that your outreach message is personalized. Make sure that it's specific to what they're looking for, what you do, and how you can help. Make sure that it's reassuring, meaning you're going to hit all of the pain points that you think they have or you think they might have had by outsourcing in the past. And then finally, you want to make sure that you have a strong call to action, preferably going to either a calendar link or a landing page that shows them more of your work and explains more about what you do. So rather than leaving you guessing, I wrote out a message that you can copy and paste and send to these agencies. This is a message that I would actually respond to. It's one that would catch my eye, and it's one that I would appreciate. So here's the message. It says, I'm Jane. I've followed your YouTube channel and Pait Digital for a while now. I recently watched your video on how to find clients, and it has been a huge help. Anyways, I'll be super quick because I know you have things to do. I'm a white label Webflow developer. I call myself a Webflow-ghost. I work with agencies like yours to help you relieve the stress of managing smaller or needier clients. I know they can be frustrating and draw your attention away from larger clients and filming more YouTube videos. But I also know it would be nice to still service those smaller clients and not lose out on that revenue. So pausing right here, I really love that it was personalized. It seems like something that Jane actually wrote to me specifically, and it's already hit a couple of pain points and has sparked my interest. So then it goes on to say, the way I work is you outsource the Webflow development to me and your client doesn't even need to know. I make this process as seamless for you as possible by communicating with you and your client if needed, building using client-first classing system, doing all the dev within a few short days, acting in unison with your team and using the tools you already use, and guaranteeing all of my work. I know this might seem like a gamble, but I know if you bring me in for just one project, you will want to keep me forever as your go-to backup Webflow dev. Even if you don't have any projects right now, it can't hurt to have a trustworthy backup. I would love to hop on a 5-minute Zoom call with you to see you face to face and show you how easy it could be to work with me. Here's my calendar link. Hope to see you soon, Jane. So Jane here has done a fantastic job of checking all of the boxes and piquing my interest and making me want to meet with her and learn more. Finally, that call to action of a quick 5-minute Zoom call is something that's very doable. It doesn't seem like a pain in the butt for me as a busy agency owner, and I guarantee that this outreach message is going to get a ton more responses. Now think about Jane sending this out to 100 different agencies and getting 4 or 5 of these that reach back out and say, we would love you to be our backup. And before you know it, Jane's getting an extra 2, 3, 4, 5 development projects. She hasn't had to find the clients on her own. She's just focusing on what she does best. And this is an ideal situation, especially if you either don't want to build an agency or really focus on outreach, or if you just haven't had the time to do that yet for yourself. This is going to be a perfect solution for you. So now that we've talked about the outreach, again, you can copy and paste this from the description of this video and send it out to people. But the last thing is I want to walk you through Tony Seets' website. Again, Tony is the one that gave me this whole idea for becoming a design ghost. And I think his landing page is a perfect example of positioning yourself, writing the perfect copy, and showcasing everything that you do to get these agencies to want to work with you. So pulling up the website right here, it's called flowmaestro.dev, and you can see that this is very specific to Webflow. The header says your go-to Webflow development ghost. Right off the bat, this is intriguing. It tells you exactly what he does. And as you scroll throughout the rest of the website, it's going to showcase his abilities in Webflow. There are some really cool animations and graphics. And as you go down, we're going to start checking off the boxes of things that we as agency owners are looking for or want to know in order to feel comfortable in hiring Tony. And then right here, it's got a picture of him and explains who he is and what he does. Then right off the bat, it's going to start hitting some pain points that I have as an agency owner. So it says, nothing unnecessary, especially meetings, meaning Tony's not going to have to meet with me all the time to understand the project. It then says straight up simple pricing and processes, which makes me feel good about organizing this outsourcing agreement and relationship. And then finally it says respectfully on time and technically on point. Again, this helps me know that he's going to be on time, he's going to do high quality work, and I'm not going to have to worry about quality control. So right off the bat, as an agency owner, I'm thinking, hey, sounds like this guy knows what he's doing. It sounds like he's someone that I can trust. And as I scroll down, he's going to continue to hammer home that idea. So it shows exactly what he does: white label Webflow development, pay-as-you-go maintenance, Figma to Webflow, all of these different things. And the website's pretty cool. You can kind of click these and move them around. So I would definitely recommend going to this site and kind of messing around with the different interactions and capabilities that it has on the site. But then we've got a little bit of social proof. Going down, it talks to us more about his process. And then it's got a call to action. If you're not yet convinced, you can continue to scroll. We've got more social proof. And then we've got a couple of value points that help me feel like, hey, Tony really knows what he's doing. It talks about how he builds in client first, talks about the courses and certifications that he has. And then even further down below, you've got all of his Webflow certifications, which again is just going to reiterate the fact that he is an expert, he can be trusted, and I'm not going to have to worry about the quality that I'm getting back. Then as you scroll down, we've got a few more bullet points of things that he's going to offer as part of his services, an FAQ section, and then finally his final call to action. Now, obviously, you're not ever going to get paid quite as much, but if you can just take on a ton of projects, this could end up being way more profitable for you than trying to grow a full-scale agency. So if you found this video interesting or helpful at all, please be sure to hit that like button. And if you want more videos like this one, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell. This way you'll get notified every single time that I launch a new video just like this one, which is typically once or twice a week. So thanks so much for watching. If you have questions or ideas, drop them down in the comments and we'll look forward to catching you in the next video.